Hey guys, this is Luke again, and welcome back to the episode tier list. So we got through the pilots all the way to Skybound. Now we go on to Hands of Time. Now, this one might be a bit tricky because a lot of people consider, Hands of Time to be one of the most forgettable seasons to ever exist. I mean, and in a way, they're right, but in a way, they're wrong as well. I'll tell you why they're right and wrong in later video down the line once I finish this. So let's start off with The Hands of Time. Alright. The Hands of Time, very good premiere. Very good. Love the Chronix' debut. Love the battle between Wu and Chronix. And I like how the ninja are just confused as to what's going on. They're not sure what's going on. And to be honest, I like that. I like how they aren't sure of the threat they are about to face. And I did like, how we had some little bit of foreshadowing. Well, not foreshadowing, but like how Achronix knew Kai's father. And, how they're like closer than they really think they are. So I really like this episode. Not God tier, but it definitely deserves an A tier. Definitely deserves an A. Then we have the hatching, I believe it was. Yeah, the hatching. This one was a bit weird. After that, we got introduced to and the season 7 was where we started to notice the whole Wu it makes a bunch of freaking enemies for no apparent reason. So yeah, this episode was kind of weird. We had, Wu telling us the story of Crux and Achronix, which is very good. And then we see Achronix and Crux, Achronix having a massive orgasm over technology, while Crux is just like my father at one point when he was pretty much hating technology because. And then the ninja fight off against the first Vermilion out of May to come, but Zane gets KO'd in the process, which is somewhat morbid, but. And this is really where Zane's malfunctions really start. They might have started earlier back in Possession, but this is, I think, where it really started to become repetitive. And it really made Zane not that good this season. So because of that, I have to drag it to a B- rating, like a B-, because I love the story of how Achronix and Crux came to be. Then we have A Time for Traitors. This was when Kai, I think, notices Crux, not Crux, Dr. Saunders as Crux, sorry. And then Kai and Nia face off against the Chronix and Crux. Now, one of the big issues I heard with Hands of Time was the dialogue. The dialogue was pretty much ass cheeks. And in some cases, I agree. Like, in this, the dialogue was kind of off at times, but remember, this is not due to the voice actor. This is due to the script. So, and this is extremely prevalent in the prequel trilogy in Star Wars, where the dialogue voices here and there, hit or miss. Where in this one was also hit or miss. So because of the dialogue, I'll give it like a C rating. I'll give it a C rating. Then there's Scavengers. A lot of people do not like the episode Scavengers at all. And I'm not entirely sure why. The Vermilion getting metal makes sense. It's just the way they got him was a bit weird. This was also the start of Zane's little MIA period. Well, the MIA period started back in the hatching, and then it spread all the way to this episode, Scavengers. A lot of people say this is Zane's worst season, and I could somewhat agree. That And in a way, it is one of his worst seasons, but not the worst. The worst season for him, in my opinion, was March the Only, because he didn't do shit in March the Only. He did more by getting knocked out than just being not knocked out in March the Only. That's fucking pathetic. But back to this. But at least the humor with Zane's little malfunctioning was pretty funny. Um, Especially with the treadmill was invented in 1818. And that's kind of wrong, I heard, and it was used as a torture device. So so I kind of don't get why people dislike this episode. Someone needs to tell me why they don't like this episode. Someone needs to tell me. Is it good? No, but it definitely doesn't really deserve that much. I'd say it's a C plus worthy. C plus. A line in the sand. A lot of people also don't like this episode either, mostly due to Blanc and Ragmonk being idiots. And a lot of people called them like the worst pairing, like below Kapow and Chop, below Cruncha and Knuckle. So yeah, at least this had some J spotlight, which was pretty neat. And we got to see the effects of the slow-mo blade, which were very cool. Yes, Blunk and Ragmonk were being idiots, but that's kind of the point of their character. That's sort of the point. Like, when you think about it back then, that's pretty much the same thing with Cruncha and Knuckle and Kapow and Chop. They're supposed to be idiots. And I think really the only difference between them is it was more tolerated with Cruncha and Knuckle because they were the earliest. And it was creative for Kapow and Chop because they actually did capture Kai and Skylar and not just filler roles. And I feel like that's what also made this. So, a line of sand, at least. And I did love Jay's little motorcycle thingy. So, I'd say this is like a C minus episode. C minus. What was the next one after that? Secrets Discovered? Wait, no, The Attack. Yeah, this one really made Lloyd look extremely bad. It made him look pretty much like Kai in the earlier seasons. Like, being overly cocky, being overly overconfident, just being overly arrogant. He just turned into Kai for an episode. So Lloyd was making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, and these mistakes, and Lloyd doesn't realize that he's making mistakes until literally after the battle. So it was pretty much his own damn fault that the Time Twins got away with Wu and both the green and blue Time Blades. And don't say emerald because it's green to me. Okay, green. I say green and blue. Whatever. So this episode isn't terrible because at least the fight scenes were entertaining. But I will give it a D rating. I will give it a D, mostly due to Lloyd being Kai for an episode. Then Secrets Discovered. I think this was the episode in which Kai and Nia find out that their parents are alive. And I think this was also the episode when Zane, Lloyd, Jay, and Cole find a secret bunker where the Vermilion are being bred by Acronix and Crux, which was interesting. It's just very lackluster. There just was a lack of exciting moments in this episode. I mean, in a series dedicated to a bunch of action, you can't really have episodes like this. If it was like a mystery series or a mystery season, yeah, this would be allowed. This would be very tolerable. But it's not. It's not. So I feel like this sort of has no place being in the season. Yeah, and a lot of people say The Void has no place being in the season when it was literally couldn't have been prevented. Pause and effect. I think this was the bad. This is when Jay and Cole got to the royal, all the mechanics are, all the blacksmiths are, and Cole finds his father. He's like, "Wait, you're not a blacksmith." And then there had the whole Jay struggling to hold up Karloff, and he just like you can't see it, but I'm crossing my knees the way he said he was crossing his knees like he just couldn't handle his weight. And speaking of Jay, I'm wearing blue today. I'm wearing blue. Zane tried to find Cyrus Borg. And I'm not sure which episode. I think it was back in episodes. I think it was like Scavengers or some, not Scavengers. Scavengers are a Time of Traitors, but this was what during the whole Pixel disappears or something like that. And then he had a moment where he lost the signal and he just pretty much gives up, or at least some. He's like, no signal, no pixel, no good. And this was Lloyd, and then there was also Kai versus Ray. A lot of people say that's the best fight of the season. Just because a fight is personal doesn't always make it good. As I believe the final battle among the Iron Doom was better. There's 3 things that make a good battle for me: where the setting, the actual fight itself, and is it personal or not. And Ray versus Kai qualified were 2 of those. It didn't have the setting, but with Iron Doom, it was all 3 of those marks. So at least I like Kai versus Ray, and I did like how Kai and Nia reunited with their parents, and at least the everyone was actually trying to do something instead of just standing there and not doing anything. So I'll put it at a B. Like, it's like a B minus to a B. And then we have Out of the Fire and Into the Boiling Sea. One of the worst episode names to ever exist. What the fuck is this title? But this is when Kai and Nia go to what's that place called? Where they go to get the fusion dragon, and they have the blade. Oh, they create a fusion dragon, and it looks so cool. The fusion dragon, the fire and water dragon, looks so cool. And I like how they work together as siblings, and they work together to find the key, and then a Crux betray them, and that happens. Then we have the rest of Ninja, who are still doing something. They're fighting off the Vermilion after Jay, you asshole, blows their cover, and epic battle ensues, and then I think Kai and Nia go after them, and then everyone's like, what the hell? Where did they go? Which, I like that ending. That ending was pretty good. It would have been an A had it not been for Jay blowing their cover. Like, why does it always have to be Jay that fucks everything up? Why does it always have to be Jay that fucks everything up? So, there we go. Then we go on to the last episode, Lost in Time. Very surreal episode, very amazing episode. And a good finale, a very good finale. I love the fight above the Iron Doom. It looks so real, so crazy looking, and it's just amazing. And I really love the ending of Where is Wu, which I knew it was probably going to be solved in the next season, but and this is going to be for the Sons of Garmadon video. I didn't know it would lead up to a trilogy. I didn't know it would lead up to the trilogy. Part of it was due to my fault for not knowing that it was a trilogy, because I really did not think of that at first. But I definitely loved the entire fight. It might not have been like super, intense like the final battle with Lloyd and the Overlord, or Zane and the new digital overlord. But it's just amazing. Yeah. And despite all the troubles that Hands of Time has with, dialogue, animation, and stuff like that, the only two bad episodes that I thought were The Attack and Secrets Discovered. Everything else was decent or above. There was no bad episodes. There were no bad episodes of Hands of Time. Unlike Skybound, when there was like 5 of them. 5 of them. Jesus Christ. Okay, that's gonna be it for the episode tier list for now. Next time I will do Sons of Garmadon, and then after that Hunted, and then after that Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel by clicking on that red subscribe button, and click on the notification bell to see every video that I will upload. See you folks in the next video. Bye-bye!